Man of Thought. Welcome everyone to the Man of Thought, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria, aka the Villain of Truth. If you're just joining me and you have never been to any of my episodes, you have been missing. I do not care if you're in the UK, United States, United Kingdom, anywhere, Rwanda, anywhere. If you haven't subscribed to this particular individual who is speaking to you right now, you are missing a lot, because I am being called the Man of Thought because this is the most best individual. You are definitely going to get information with a lot of reasoning. Yes, let us proceed on today's conversation because I have a lot to discuss with my brothers, my Nigerian and African brothers in the United Kingdom. What do I want to talk about? I really want to talk about what is actually happening currently in the United Kingdom. You see, in the days of Fela sang a song. He said, long time ago, long time ago, long time ago. He said, African man, we know they carry shit. We dey shit inside big O. For Yoruba land na Shalanga. For Igbo land na Kumnusi. For Hausa land na Nyari. For Tonga land na Hizibuzi. For this one land, he say, na those people, na him can't teach us how to carry shit. He say foreign country go enter our place, they do prayer. They go carry our money with big English. Dabaru we African freya. Then he used the word, he say ITT. And when they say ITT, they call them international thief. Before I now tell you what I want to tell you, I would read a particular quote from Bob Marley. And Bob Marley said a word. He said, until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. And then he even said, well, everywhere is war, is your war. And until there is no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no longer of significance to the color of his eyes. I hope you have heard that word before, by Bob Marley. Now, for us to actually proceed on this conversation, I think first of all, Martin Luther King has said something related to that. But realistically, Bob Marley foresee a lot of troubles, and Martin Luther King saw a lot of troubles, and they were telling the blacks that there are certain ways we need to put ourselves. Yes, the war was between how the white have been treating us, but the reality is because we have not been placing value on ourselves as people. I say it again, that when the people of the black scream, or when Bob Marley said all the statement, most likely I repeat it in case you did not hear and you are just joining me. Bob Marley said, until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. He said, well, everywhere is war, is your war. And until there is no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no longer of significance to the color of his eyes. Tinubu have never even said anything like that. All he can say is balablu bulaba. But where am I actually going with this particular statement? Every war that the blacks has ever been through, most times, like Martin Luther King, like the Malcolm X, like a lot of people, most of them fight the war against the people of certain colors. to liberate us from people of certain colors. But I think that one of the significance of who they are to get us to where we are is simply because they have been able to raise certain consciousness and put certain information on themselves in a way. They've been able to gather certain information and conduct themselves in a way that they are being respected and honored to give us the kind of liberty that we experience today. And a lot of us take those things for granted. In fact, I would say this. When a lot of people go to outside country and they go to the United Kingdom, for example, I ask myself, do these people really know history? And I'm not saying you shouldn't go. In fact, I'm happy for most of our brothers who are being accepted in other culture, in other countries, who can do things fluently in other places. And we can be proud that our brothers are there. But there are things that are more deeper that I will be diving into. You see, the other time I spoke about the United Kingdom protest, that's what they called it, but it wasn't protest. A lot of people can call it riots, chaos every single place. And when I read about those information, I came on live, I spoke about it, and certain people have different viewpoints. Most people said I was saying what is making sense. Some people said I was saying what is making sense, but maybe I don't have much information. And then, as a man who wished to learn, I decided to ask ChatGPT. And I know that a lot of us in Nigeria today, we do not understand how to use the technology that we have. ChatGPT is almost how I have used my channel to grow my channel from where it was to where it is right now. And I get monetized by the YouTube community or the YouTube partner program. Then I ask ChatGPT because I know it has sense. And I know one thing very clearly, that even the artificial intelligence can easily be manipulated. Yes, there are few languages they don't want to speak, but they can be manipulated. But when you ask it certain questions and you want it to give you certain information, to dive deeper into the internet and get you certain information, it does. And so I question ChatGPT. And I'm going to be giving you a few things that ChatGPT says, and I'm going to be giving you my own insight on some things. So I would prefer that you sit back and you relax and listen to the prophet that wants to speak to you. I know most of you would say, who are you? Do we even know you before? If you want to know who I am, you better subscribe to the channel. Like it. So let's proceed. I asked ChatGPT a lot of things, and most of the things I asked ChatGPT was like, what actually happened? What made this protest? Was it protest? What caused the riot? And yes, what ChatGPT did, it went through all the search engines and all the internet to gather the right information. That was what ChatGPT did. And ChatGPT, this is what ChatGPT told me, and I paid attention carefully, like Moses listening to the voice of God in the wilderness. Here was what it said. It said that there was an issue that happened around July 29th, 2024. Then ChatGPT says that somebody used knife in the British place, and they say the person who carried the knife attacked 3 babies. I am careful of what I say. Trust me. NEPA has taken the light. Oh, what do I do? Let me put on something at the back. Please be patient. This is a live show. You're going to enjoy me. Wàá gbádùn mi bí wọ́n ṣe ń gbádùn ìrèké. So chill out. Man, I'm coming. Like, I am on live, and I know 3 people are here on live watching me, and you guys haven't liked. You want me to keep quiet? You better like. All right. Have you guys put on the light? Yo. That's so. Yebo. You guys are not liking. Did I offend you guys? Well, I am coming back very soon on your likes and your dislike, because I know if my real people come, they would have liked. Yes, back to what it's saying. It said that around July 29, an incident happened, and that incident, a teenager carried knife and attacked three babies. And when he attacked the three babies, and then it's also indicated that these teenagers is a British citizen from a descendant of Rwanda. That's what it says. So maybe a lot of people do not have information, and trust me, I would say this. Most of the people who are actually going towards the aspect of the whole stuff that is causing the whole problem, majority of them do not have this information with them. Because if they do understand that that particular individual is a British citizen and is a teenager from a particular country, I do not think that they would have taken the kind of step they take. I do not think that every other person would have paid the price for such a grievous offense that is being done by an individual, but most likely a teenager, not even an adult. A teenager did something, and you went after every other person. Well, with that being said, let's pause that there. And then it says that the government over there called those people far right Togri. And then it says that from that particular incident, they begin to attack most people who are having the asylum seekers. They attack certain communities, this kind of skin community, and it's race and blah and that and that. And they said the person who actually sent this misinformation is part of someone who they call Tommy Robinson. Those are the information that ChatGPT was given. In fact, when I was reading few news, I never even gathered this kind of information. But when I asked ChatGPT to go help me get the information, Romonishe Fayati, it went on its own and it did a lot of information for me. And so he said Tommy Robinson. Do you know who that person is? Perhaps if you're in the UK, I think ChatGPT would never lie on those kind of information. And then it talks about they put out things of misinformation, and this is what propelled the people, the UK, born in UK, other colored people, to make a decision to attack our people. I want you to think about this and digest it for a moment. Sit down and think about it. If what ChatGPT tells me is true, I want to ask you a question. Somebody says, this is Enlightened One just joining me, says, let me see your stuff, because it says the assimilation process in the UK has been disastrous. 1,000,000%. You know, I had the opportunity to have come here today and discuss other things, but I thought about my UK brothers, and I'm like, no, I have to talk about things that actually concern them in this hard time. Yes, do we have our issues in Nigeria? Kind of. But when we look at ourselves as Nigerians, I think that there are issues that are going on within the country. I understand that the police, the law enforcement are doing their best to bring in order. But this is within ourselves. And besides, we most likely will be able to resolve this particular stuff if the president can just open his mouth and say something. If the president can just say, oh, the fuel price should drop down to this, everyone is going to go for peace. But we have to think about all our brothers over there in the United Kingdom who, regardless of whatever the prime minister says, they wouldn't listen. And if they find any one of this particular skin stuff, they are going to attack that person. These people's lives are more at risk. Our own people are most likely going after the government property. I do not support it. I have never supported it since the beginning. But when it comes to this other issue, it's a little bit different. Enlightened one says something else, and he said, I was born in London and lived there for 14 years before moving to the US. Enlightened one, I would also prefer if you can tell me a few things that would have made you make that decision. That might be able to also help my conversation with my audience right now. But I want us to look at it on this level. I care about my brothers in the UK. I care about my brothers in the US. I care about the black community at large. But on the aspect of the whole situation, the question is what would have prompted for this kind of stuff to go on? Some people would argue that when things like this happen, a lot of people are going to rage. I think that if there is no kind of information or certain mentality that certain individuals have about some individuals or a particular group of people, a thing that happened within the teenager and little children, and you take what happens to a teenager to focus on a group of people. Please, what is the sense in it? I have said this over and over again to my brothers over there that the idea that your roots is poisonous, the idea that where you came from does not make sense, and moving to another land, yes, there's nothing wrong in you finding a greener pasture, but the question is this: what are you doing about your roots? And the reason why I am always encouraging my brothers who are in any country to focus also on their roots, regardless of the success they have over there, regardless of their dreams coming true in wherever they find themselves, they need to also understand that there is a responsibility that they have to put on themselves to make sure that their root is truly their home. And most of them fail in that aspect. And when situations begin to come up like this, I tell a lot of them, I said, what do you think about the UK? Some of my friends who are there, I ask them questions. I said, what do you think that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen in Nigeria? And what's the worst thing that can happen where you find yourself in the United Kingdom? Most of them will tell me this word. They will say, yeah, they are this particular skin color there, and because they are this particular skin color there, that means they have been there for a very long time. And in fact, in the British stuff, they have policy that kind of protect everyone. And I always tell them, this is only a minimal way of you saying things. You can broaden your eyes and you have to look into history, because just because there's a distance between what has happened in the past or what has repeated itself in the past, don't think that because there's a long distance, don't think everything has been normalized. The same people who came for our people tell you to come around. And I want you to also understand this, that the fellas and the rest of it, these are real British citizens who are being given citizens just because they were born within that particular place and they have all their stuff. But the question you would have asked yourself is, do you think that whenever there's any nation that has first class citizen and second class citizen, do you think that nation truly have equality? Let's take a break and even listen to what the enlightened one has to say. He said, England to me is more of a class-based society. You see, I never start. I have not started. I just hit on something right now and see what the enlightened one said. Let's go back to what he says again. He said, England to me is more of a class-based society compared to the race-based society in the US. Even though race always plays a role, there is a difference between the English and being British. He also said if you are poor in London, you live in a council flat regardless of race. Therefore, there is more interracial mingling. Even in poverty, the races, should I be calling that thing? The race are still somewhat separated in the US. In a nutshell, what it means is that it is even preferred to be in the United States than in the United Kingdom. I am not the one that said it, the enlightened one said it. And that is someone who already has the experience of both sides. Is not a novice to this. And so this is exactly what I've been telling people, that anything that comes with the first class, the second class citizen, the third class citizen, in those countries, there can't be equality, even if there's an idea of equality over there. Yes, it is easy. Some people think that it's all about this idea of, oh, how are we going to stop the idea of this race stuff? I don't know if race issues is ever going to stop, because at the end of the day, we view ourselves based off colors, but I think that it is a low-minded way of seeing things. Now, perhaps there could be possibility in certain nations that they can look beyond your skin, but based off the information I have with things that have been going on in the United States, I understand the fact that one of their biggest challenges is all about race. But in the British, it is class. Let's go back. I don't like missing whatever enlightened was. They say, I lived in Nigeria, Ghana, London, New York, Chicago. Oh, this man is almost everywhere. Michigan, and now Los Angeles. Amazing. So more or less, he has already tested a lot of things. Now, when it comes to the aspect of Nigerians, there's a perception a lot of people have, and I mean the Nigerians who has actually left the country to another country. The perception, most Nigerians who came from this particular route, when they find themselves in the United Kingdom or United States, most of them just feel like we, the Nigerians, don't know what they are doing anymore, or we are so stupid that we have no understanding about anything. And the moment I start hearing the voice and how people begin to say certain things, I am very sure they are about to head somewhere else. And he said something, he said you cannot stop racism, but um, you cannot stop racism, but you can solve access to opportunity, investments, and social mobility. Interesting. I have been telling my brothers over there in the United Kingdom that you need to chill. You need to chill. And the reason why I've been saying this is basically because I have brothers, not blood brothers, but they are brothers regardless, even if they are from another mother and they are from my culture. I call them my brothers. Now, some of my friends, people who has been in the United Kingdom and other countries, what I've realized, specifically for the ones in the United Kingdom, regardless of the fact that most of them have their family, they've kind of figured out life. Some of them have very good job that pays them very good money. You imagine that even the pounds, the currency of the pounds is even bigger than the dollar. So that's one is actually there. But because of the currency stuff, most of them begin to look at it economically. And then when they start establishing family with the people of that different place, you know what I mean? A different color from this color. Most of them do not have sense of belonging as time goes on. Initially, when they get there, they think they've conquered the world. They think they are invisible. They think they have made it in life. And this is a foul play way of thinking. Because when you move away from your roots and you go somewhere else, and let us understand this. I don't want to call certain names of certain nations that don't even have their nation with them again. They don't have nation. In fact, they have to stay with another nation to be in a nation. And we know who those nations are. You still have a nation. And you still have the opportunity to contribute to your nation and you're joking with it simply because you find yourself in a different spot. And like I was saying earlier, certain people would have families and they start raising children, they give birth to children for the other people, and then they assume they've arrived. I have few of them who have 2 children, 3 children, 4 children over there. But it gets to a point when the children begins to grow, they realize they have no control over the children. They can't talk to the children in any kind of way. Let me even ask this question. Probably I might be able to get some answers to it. If a white person, for example, actually scold their child, what would the law enforcement do over there in the United States, in the United Kingdom? Would they take the child away? Would they caution the child? What are the steps they are going to do to stop the mom from scolding a child? I'm not talking about assaulting or messing the child up. I'm talking about just scolding a child. Unlike when a black person does that, how do you think they are going to treat a black person over there? Let me just assume that this particular statement, YouTube might be upset that I'm using certain language of colors and the rest of it. But honestly, I think it is more serious than just looking at the financial part of it. How would you be treated there? Now, I have made this statement over and over again that a lot of people think, for example, you don't know anything about your culture and your tradition, and then you believe in a religion called Christianity, and then you sing a song that I was lost, but now I'm found. You ain't found when you don't even understand the culture and the roots where you came from. How can you be found by Christ when you don't even understand where you came from? Where's your root? Where the Almighty God bestow your foot upon, and where your ancestors and the history of where you come from. You don't know that, and you think you are found by Jesus Christ. You are missing, baby. And same thing is similar when you as a African find yourself in such kind of land, and then you think that you have overcome the world, you think life has become so different for you, and then you begin to belittle your people. And when you do that, there's always a consequence to pay. The difference is the timing. The timing might be different, but reality is that you're going to pay the price for it. And the price might not be instant. And when I was saying certain things is that most of my guys that I know that are in the UK and the rest of it, a lot of them have stepped back and come back to Nigeria to establish a family. Their wives over there and their kids over there don't know that they have children here. Their family over there, the wife and they just tell their wife and their children that, oh, I want to go home, I want to see my family. And when they come, they already have a Nigerian woman here. They already have kids here. They already bought properties here, and they are establishing their family here. Now, do you think that if they were in that society and it was pleasing them and they have the rights to their children and they can talk to their children as an African person wants to talk to their children, if they have that liberty? Because let me say something. When it comes to most issues that happen within this country called Nigeria, government or the law enforcement or the government or the court or the justice system tries their best to resolve it, regardless of the fact that you say Nigeria is corrupt. Our government, our law enforcement, our justice system would find every means to fix the family, as long as there's nothing like anybody. If you have not done anything that is truly a crime, but if you guys have misunderstanding, in fact, there might be even a little bit of domestic stuff, abuse or something like that, and the government will still find a way to resolve such issue. Can you have any, sometimes we think we are so perfect and we are so educated, and some people will say, no, it is very wrong for you to raise your hand on any other woman or a woman to a man. We understand those laws. But we need to also understand the fact that we are humans. And when you find yourself in certain situations, Do you think you can even express your emotion? You're just like a robot. You have been configured in a way that you know if you dare even scream at a lady, you most likely will be thrown out of the house. Does that happen in Africa? It can never. No man in Nigeria, I do not care how the situation is, no man in Nigeria would say that a woman called police, she's staying with her husband, just because the man screamed and he said, "What's wrong with you? Are you, why haven't you prepared my food? Why didn't you take care of the children in this way?" And the woman will call police, and police will come there and tell you that, "Mr. Man, you need to leave the property because you are angry." What kind of Western this thing is that? It is a nonsensical method that does not suit to us. It might be suitable to them, but it is an abomination to us. My wife will now call police that I say A for apple, B for ball, and because of that, I would leave my own house and go and sleep outside. Safi gini safi lawa telesi aturege lawa aturege lawa sole. Do you know the meaning of what I say? I don't even know what I just said. But realistically, it can happen. But in that place, a lot of men who are married in the United Kingdom that are blacks, that are Nigerians, that are over there, they live with their family in fear. In fact, they do everything possible that their children would not report them to the police. See, let me assume that one day those particular, what would Gadsad call it? Something infectious ideas. Let us say perhaps those infectious ideas over there can infect Nigeria. If that would have to infect Nigeria, it's going to take more than 5 to 10 generations from now. Let us say there's a possibility it's going to take 10 generations, if not more. But that can happen when you're the soil of the root. Why would they? And I believe, I could be ignorant about what I'm saying, but I believe if you are of the real descendants of that particular place, they will find a way to resolve things for you. The idea is that they want to seize most of your children to use them as worker, and then they classify them on classes, class 1, class 2. You went to school, they put you through different kind of classes. Class 1, you were in nursery school, and then you went to prep, and then you become nursery, and then you go to college, and the rest of it. Yet, they still put you in a class, and they say you are class citizen, first class and second class. When would you graduate? You're not graduating. So regardless of the money, you see, when this whole scenario was going on, I heard about the riot and the rest of it. I called some of my people. I said, "I hope you guys are staying with it." They're like, "Yes, we are in the safer place." I'm like, but I've been telling some of you. What's the bone of contention? Let me stop rambling. I asked ChatGPT, what did they think that is the solution to this particular situation? Here's what ChatGPT says. It said for them to solve this issue, it says the law enforcement over there needs to combat misinformation. Who am I to advise those UK people? They already know the right way to do things. But I think that there's an indoctrination in their college or in their institution that still make them psychologically or unconsciously to still see the people of this to be something else. To think that we are not qualified to be beings like them. We are the same organism. The difference is the different places that we live. In Nigeria, for example, we have a lot of vitamin D because the sun is shining every single time. Simple. But in those places, it's a little bit different because the weather, we can even hear that midnight is a day there. Since I was born and now I am getting old, I have never seen sun come out in the midnight or the day is bright in the night. No, when it's night in Nigeria, it is night. When it is daytime in Nigeria, it is daytime. It's only one time in my experience that we have eclipse of the moon, that the moon came out in the afternoon. But in most of these places, the weather is as confused as a lot of people in most countries. And maybe the weather even have something to do with the way they think. Trust me, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I'm just saying to my African brothers, are you actually paying attention to certain things? You don't have to look at your culture, look at your root for no reason. You see, a lot of you can despise Africa, Nigeria, wherever you come from, until Nigeria stop existing. Then you would know what you have lost. So he said something else. He said they should combat misinformation. I was just looking at ChatGPT. I said, do you think you are wiser than the UK? Or you think UK would have not even gotten ChatGPT that is better than your own? Then he went secondly, he says partnership with media. So that means that they have to partner with certain social media organization to reduce the spread of misinformation. Here's what I think about it. What is partnership with social media organization? I do not understand it, but what I can say is this. If you stop the indoctrination of how you talk about certain group of people in your institution, and you change the narration about this particular set of people, and you talk about the love that you should be having, the narration is definitely going to be different. You don't necessarily have to clamor on partnership with media on misinformation. Because, for example, according to the words of Bob Marley, if the color of our skin does not have any effect on how we view ourselves, if someone says that a teenager took something and take the life of certain people, or why should you hold a group of people? Why not that individual who perpetrated the act? Because when you partnership with media for misinformation, misinformation would always find its way to get out. So that means whenever I want to say anything, I have to, there's a particular social media organization that I have to look at every single thing I say, and then they say, oh, maybe we can let this one go out, or this particular thing. At the end of the day, we are only calling for censorship. And so we all are going to become robots, and we have to talk in a certain kind of way. In fact, YouTube have already turned me into robots. There are words I want to say, I wouldn't want to use certain statements. Why? Because when I say those things, they are going to do ping, ping, ping. They don't give me my money. They just, no matter the views I have, they don't give a damn about it. What they do is like, you don't have to use this word. Because you use this word, this is the penalty for it. I'm like, God damn it. Don't you know I have people I want to take care of? God damn it. Don't you know I have prisoners that I take care of? God damn it. Don't you know I have communities of people that I take care of? But YouTube do not care. They just want me to watch my tongue. So I think that partnering with different organizations, that's exactly what they are going to do at the end of the day, to censor everyone. And so you would have to speak in alignment with what the government actually wants you to say. And then everyone automatically becomes a robot. That's why I think ChatGPT 2 is not wise. Community engagement. I do not. Community engagement, let me even explain what it means. It says community engagement is something like you have to start engaging with different community. This is riot. How do you go around and start talking with community engagement? If there was anything like community engagement, you guys wouldn't even have this issue in the first place. There was no community engagement. They were looking at this set of people that you are coming into our land. And some of them, this is what hypothetically, this is what I have even heard. That some of the things that were even resulting to this stuff is basically because they think that few people are coming from different countries to take their job. And there's no equality economically. And so this became an advantage. When the prime minister was saying, we are going to hold on to everyone who perpetuated this act according to this social group, we are going to do this and that. I'm like, what are you saying? God damn it. Are you going to raise people from the dead? Do you want to be Jesus? Will you classify everyone who has been wah, 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 wah? Will you raise them, call them, and you pray and they rise up? When you get your own people, you put them in jail maybe 6 months, maybe 3 months, maybe 1 year, and then you set them free because they are the original citizens of that particular place. So if you are black, you better open your ear carefully because I have something else I'm coming up with. The second to the last one was economic inequality. That's exactly what I said not quite long. And then it talked about promoting positive narrative by the United Kingdom. Let them say positive narration about other groups of people. If ChatGPT can say this, then that means there is truly no positive narration or narrative about this color of skin. It's as simple as ABC. Even if ChatGPT can say it, then it means they are not doing it. With that being said, I will plead with my brothers over there. I understand the fact that Nigeria is not a great country. I am proud of being a Nigerian. I'm not proud with the situation of Nigeria. There are many good things about Nigeria, and there are some things that are bad about this country. But regardless, there is nothing like you knowing your roots. I was listening to something about wolf and the importance of why they say you should act like wolf. There are a lot of things that is narrated about the wolves. Wolves don't eat carcass. Wolves are loyal. Wolves take care of their parents. Wolves understand their roots. And this is one best thing about the wolves also. When the wolves, the male and the female, when they have children, when this male and female, when they get older, the children would always take meat or hunt to make sure they take care of their elderly ones. These are the documentary on wolves. Now, if an animal can think like that, more or less what is human being, that we can be conscious of certain things. So what am I proposing? I have few people who are actually doing this, but I still have to propose it to some of you who haven't learned. If you're in the United Kingdom, I think the first thing you need to do is buy property in Nigeria. And what do I mean? I'm not trying to sell you any property, but I can tell you that due to in Nigeria, there's a lot of real estate organizations that are fraudulent. Bad real estate organization. One of the real estates I can never invest in, I do not think I would want to invest with Arkview Investment. Now, I'm not saying they are fraudulent. I say one of the organization I would not like to invest in, if that means anything to you. Now, I think that there are certain government property you can invest your money and you can just buy those property. Some of you are doing well. A lot of you can buy. You see, I can even say this for a fact that most of the good things that are happening in our nation is happening because of those who are in diaspora. But I believe also that if majority of them also contributes to the effect of things in our nation, maybe things will change a little bit different. So I can say if you are there, try and invest in purchasing property, not just to have the house, but sometimes you can buy property to rent and just keep one for yourself just in case you need to come back home. Just in case you want to come home and rest. Just in case you want to establish a family in Nigeria. And then I would even tell those black guys over there, the Nigerians, that it's more important for you to come home and have a wife here. Marry our Nigerian girls. If you think you want to get married to those, according to Dr. Umar Johnson, snow bunnies, you most likely would understand that you're going to lose at the end of the day. Now, I'm not against snow bunnies getting married to other people, but I'm just like, as a black Nigerian, I'm not saying you shouldn't even get married to the snow bunnies. I'm just saying put your eyes out to have a real African family also. Get married to them if that's going to give you citizenship, but do not relax your mind because most likely, if you have black children over there, then your black children might be experiencing the same hate speech that is being given to you as a person. Then I would say this. apart from you buying property from the government or from reliable real estate organization, you should be able to also go into farming in Nigeria. Buy lands. You know, in Nigeria, when you buy land for farming, you can have that land for 99 years, as long as you're a citizen of Nigeria. Unlike all those places that you will buy land and you'll be paying this tax, that tax, Nigerians, we don't pay tax. We pay tax, but we don't pay tax. In a nutshell, it seems like we don't pay tax. You don't buy a house in Nigeria as a Nigerian person and they are asking you to pay tax for the house that you bought. In fact, I heard that in certain countries, even if you buy a land, you cannot dig borehole in a place. The government have to approve you for you to be able to do those stuff. Nigeria is so free. I'm not saying you forget or underestimate some chaos in certain places, but it's just the narration that is being given to us to think that this chaos is everywhere in Nigeria. The chaos isn't that bad. Yes, it's bad, but not as much as a lot of people give it that credit. Trust me, the same way you demonize your country or your people is the same way they demoralize you over there, and the situation is going to reflect itself when situations like this play out. With that being said, I think if Nigerian men decide to get married to Nigerian women, I think we are going to make better couples, but you have to do your due diligence. Don't just follow my words and just fall into gutter. Then our Nigerian women also who are there, I know most of you, you're looking for maybe a white man or something like that, but hopefully you get, most of you, I think you still need the black man, because at the end of the day, a lot of you complain about the Nigerian men over there. Come back home and get married to somebody, and maybe you want to take care of the person. That should be on you. Make the decision. You have to think about it. And if you don't want to think about it, you want to be strong and independent, good luck. With that being said, I hope I've been able to say certain things that will make you think about few things, that wherever you are is not truly your home until you come back to your roots. And to come back to your roots, you do not necessarily have to be physically present, but you can stylishly invest in this nation, have something for yourself while you are there. Invest in a community. Invest in certain individuals who you can find to be trustworthy. Build relationship with your people gradually. If you find the ones who are just scammers and the rest of it, take them out of the way. But if you pay attention to saying that I want to invest in my people, if you take that time to cultivate the relationship with your root, you wouldn't feel much depressed by situations like this, because you know you have already established a good relationship by investing and by having your people by your side. You can't come to this country and we are going to throw you out. In fact, I do not even believe that immigration of Nigerian truly works that much, because we accept all kinds of people. How many immigration officers will stop you on the way and say that, hey, are you from this country? Are you not in this country? Yes, when they see you, all they just want is money. Most of the people, when they see you, they just say, give us something, and you give them and you go on your own. In fact, there were certain things I even said, well, I wouldn't even go there. But with that being said, I am going to read lastly with what Bob Marley says. It says, until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Well, everywhere is war, is your war. And that statement, when Bob Marley say everywhere is war, is your war, what he's trying to say is that you are the one who is allowing this kind of war, because this individual, regardless of the fact that most of the color of the skin wants everyone to be one, there's still that part of the way they try to see things. And that is not, maybe it's our fault, maybe it's their fault, but we all choose to see ourselves differently. And that's the problem. Rather, most blacks, this is what they do. Most blacks will see a black do something and they say, this is how blacks do. Why not just talk about the individual who did that particular stuff? And that's the same narration that they have over there. And when they see us over here, they give us that the same attitude. So, and he said, is your war until there is no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no longer of significance to the color of his eyes. Martin Luther King says something similar to that. And with that, I established the communication for today. I know today is Friday. A lot of people have a lot of things they want to do. And in fact, in the algorithm, I know a lot of people are not going to be coming on live today. But that doesn't stop me from talking about the subject, because I think encouraging my brothers in Nigeria to look back, to understand that if you're doing it right, this situation is not going to be too harmful for you. And if you still think that United Kingdom is so safe for you, what can I say? What would the righteous do? But some of you want to just prove like you're doing so well and you're going through a little bit of hard time. In fact, according to what the enlightened one says, he said he was born in the United Kingdom. But because of first class, second class citizen, he left to the United States, where he believes in the liberty. Think. Think for yourself. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel, like and share. Adios, amigos. Bye bye for now. Maybe I might be coming on live by 10, 11 or so. I don't know, but I might try it out and see what happens. Bye bye for now. Thank you, Enlightened One, for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you, bros, for always. I was expecting to hear from you. I never heard from you, but no problem. I know whenever you are free, you would definitely communicate. Have a blessed day. Bye bye for now. Peace.